Picture this. You and your family go to your local dog store to pick up a new puppy for the house. While you're there, you look at the little puppy faces staring back at you, and you play with them. You hold them, you finally pick one out, and you pay for your new puppy. And when you get home, you notice that a couple hours later there's something wrong with your new puppy. So you take your new puppy to the vet, they run a couple tests, and after a couple hours of testing, they tell you that your dog has hereditary brain disorder. Wondering who this could happen to? Well, it happened to this puppy, Pepper. As Pepper ages, he will have progressively longer spells during which he will not be able to talk, walk, eat, or even stand on his own. This, unfortunately, is not a special case. This type of tragedy happens every day. In order to prove this, I have researched the following topics. I researched stoppuppymills.org, awarenessday.org, ASPCA.org, HSUS.org, readersclub.net, DoSomething.org, USDA.gov, and prisonersofgreed.org. The problem I want to bring to your attention today is about puppy mills and why they should be shut down. There are several ways to shut down puppy mills, but the most effective way to shut them down is to educate yourself and then stop buying puppy mills from puppy stores. Before I explain to you how easy the solution is to this problem, I would first like to discuss how extensive the problem is itself. Puppy mills are substandard kennels where unhealthy, overbred, malnourished dogs are kept in horrible conditions and are the source of many animal deaths each day. Puppy mills are nothing new to this country. These mass dog breeding kennels have been around for decades and decades. These puppy mills, also known as commercial kennels, continue to be booming business because they continue to prey on uneducated consumers who happen to be smitten by the cute little faces they see in the pet store windows and on fancy websites. But as stoppuppymills.org says, behind the friendly facade of the local pet shop, the pastoral scenes on a breeder's website or the neighborhood newspaper ad, there often lies a puppy mill. These dog breeding facilities house dogs in disgustingly poor conditions. And in these disgusting conditions, it is said by awarenessday.org that 4 million dogs are bred in puppy mills every year. The dog breeding these puppies are called breeding stock. Breeding stock are dogs who spend their entire lives in cages and are continually bred for years without any kind of human companionship with very little hope of ever being a part of a real family. These dogs receive no veterinary care, never see a bed, a treat, or even a toy. And the worst part about it is that after their fertility starts to drop, most of these animals are just killed. Another problem with these animals being caged up all the time and being left with little food or dirty water and being bred in terrible conditions is that not only is the mother and the father not healthy or sane, but neither are the offspring. ASPCA.org describes many of these animals' diseases as being epilepsy, heart disease, kidney disease, deafness, musculoskeletal problems, and much more. I believe that these puppy mills are not only causing people heartache for their new animals, but they are also causing people quite a bit of money in getting close to and getting these animals help. Two instances in which I saw this be the case were ones I found on HSUS.org. In one family's case in Michigan, they had just brought their new lab home, and within a few days the dog became very ill. It turned out that the dog had parvovirus. Along with that, he had urinary infection, ear infection, and roundworms. Another case was a toy poodle named Abby from Massachusetts. Abby had been shipped to a family in Massachusetts, and when she arrived, she was diagnosed with luxating patellis, which are dislocated kneecaps. Her family had to spend more than $1,600 on 2 surgeries to correct it. Abby's vet said it was the worst case she had ever seen. Several 100,000 puppies are shipped cross-country and sold through pet shops, newspaper classifieds, or even internet sites every year. And breedersclub.net says that 25% of them don't even make it through the shipping process because they're in such bad shape. Dr. Kelly Strider from DoSomething.org said that these dogs suffer continuously, imprisoned in small, cramped cages and often soiled with their own excrement. So it is no wonder that only 75% of them make it. And because puppy mills a business, the facility is designed purely for profit and not for the well-being of the dogs at all. Laws on the books state that at least minimum care standards must be provided for puppy mill animals, but enforcement over the years has historically been spotty. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is in charge of the licensing and inspection of commercial breeding facilities for violations of the Animal Welfare Act. Likewise, a handful of states actually have laws that provide oversight of animal breeding operations as well. In these states that do have laws for puppy mills can successfully navigate around these laws either by selling directly to the consumer or by simply avoiding the reach of law enforcement. When the U.S. Department of Agriculture is successful in shutting down some of these puppy mills, they will find cases such as the one they found in Arkansas. In Arkansas, they found a beagle, a female beagle that had a baseball-sized mass on its lateral right neck just below the ear. If the action is not taken against these puppy mills, then these disease-infected kennels will continue to pump out unhealthy animals who are prone to life-threatening illnesses. Dr. Carl Lichon from StopPuppyMills.org says that if these mills aren't shut down, then these disease-ridden commercial kennel dogs might start to infect the rest of the population. In order to keep any of that from happening, these mills must go. I know all this talk about diseased and dying puppies is a bit harsh and hard to take in, but there is a way to stop it. The simple solution to this problem is to get educated about puppy mills and to stop buying puppies from puppy stores. This plan is the right solution to the problem because it wouldn't just slow down the puppy mill sales, but it would completely shut them down. Prisonersofgreed.org has research that indicates that 98% of the puppies sold in puppy stores come from commercial kennels. The mass production of puppies is dependent upon the public buying puppies in pet stores. If people stop buying puppies in puppy stores, then the demand would end and the pet stores would stop buying from commercial kennels and the mills would be forced to shut down. The solution is feasible because of the simple fact that it is so easy to execute. All it would take is a little participation on those who in the future want to buy a dog. If this solution plan was fully implemented, I would expect that there would be a massive decrease in the amount of commercial kennels that would be able to survive, mainly because they depend on the consumer to stay in business. Dr. Hainsky from the Prisonersofgreed.org says that he doubts if 5% of the commercial kennels would be able to stay in business without the help of puppy stores. My proposal on how to implement the plan is as simple as the plan itself. First, educate the people on the risk of puppy mills and just show how detrimental they are to each animal's health. Second, I will create a campaign warning people about where these puppies from puppy stores come from and ask them not to buy them. If this is implemented and the consumers listen, then I believe that it will be effective in shutting down almost all puppy mills. If I had to pick a time in which this plan should be implemented, then I would choose now. Thousands and thousands of animals are being bred daily, so the sooner the better. This information in the speech is not something that should be taken lightheartedly. The pain that these animals are going through every day is real. Puppy mills are something that need to be shut down, and the energy level needed to make it happen is not very high. All it takes is a little education and a little action. To end this speech, I would like to leave you with the same picture that I gave you at the beginning. A picture of Pepper. It wasn't Pepper's fault that he was born with a hereditary brain disorder. It was forced upon him with a mixture of overbreeding, poor living conditions, and malnourishment. And if you buy a dog from a puppy store, this is likely to happen to your dog as well.